My child, I want you to listen carefully from the very start. The way they treated you did not change how I see you. You have gone through times when your heart stayed faithful, your intentions were good, and your spirit was open, yet you were ignored. You gave your best, but it was not noticed. You spoke truth, but it was pushed aside. You showed loyalty, but it was taken for granted. You brought peace, but there was only silence in return. And somewhere along the way, even though you kept going, a part of you began to wonder if maybe you didn't matter as much as you believed. But today, I am telling you, you were never invisible to me. You were never pushed aside. In heaven, you were chosen on purpose, forever and never to be changed. You have been through more than most people understand. They saw only parts of your outside life, but they never saw how much it cost you to keep going. You served even when you were tired. You encouraged others while secretly hoping someone would encourage you. You showed up even when people didn't notice you, when your voice was drowned out, when your name was left out. I saw it all, and not only did I see it, I kept track, not to get back at anyone or to expose them, but because I respect your faithfulness that others forgot. What the world ignored, I am about to lift up. I will use you, and not someday far away, but now. This is the time to honor your journey. Let me take you back, not to bring pain, but to bring understanding. The reason the silence hurt so much was not because you wanted attention. You were looking for someone to see you. You weren't asking to be praised. You just wanted to be acknowledged. That wanting is not weakness or pride. I made you with that longing, not so others would fill it, but so it would pull you closer to me, the one who sees everything clearly. I never meant for you to build your identity on people's approval. That's why I kept some doors closed, why I delayed some opportunities, why I said, not yet. When you were ready to run, it was not to hurt you, but to heal what would have broken under pressure. You are not forgotten. This is not just a saying, it is a truth sealed in heaven. I have watched you grow in hidden places, loving without an audience and without applause. I want you to know that kind of life is never wasted. The places where people ignored you became the places where I showed myself to you more fully. Now that you know how to serve quietly, I can trust you with influence that will not harm your soul. I can put you where people will listen, and you won't change who you are just to be liked. You won't be tempted by approval because you've already lived without it. You are not broken because they didn't pick you. You are not disqualified because they didn't believe in you. What people passed by, I protected. I kept you from getting praise too soon, so your roots could grow deep and your identity wouldn't be based on shallow approval. Now I am calling you out, not because others think you've arrived, but because I have seen you ready. Let me speak to the heavy feelings you carry, the feeling that your hard work was wasted, that your obedience didn't bring the results you hoped for, that your time was lost. It was not lost. Heaven counts things differently than the earth. I don't measure worth by how visible you are. I don't measure purpose by big platforms. I measure by faithfulness, by the heart's condition, by pure motives, by your choice to obey me even when it cost everything and gave no guarantees. That is why I am sending this message now, because the time is changing. This word is not just comfort. It is a call. I am not just confirming your past. I am starting your next step. I am declaring in the Spirit what is already decided in heaven. It is time for you to walk not with apology, but with power. The time of being invisible is ending. The time of being seen is here. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. You are not passed over. You are being protected. The path you walked with delay, misunderstanding, and hiding was not punishment. It was preparation. You will soon see the results of your quiet yes. The breakthrough will not just feel like moving forward. It will feel like justice. Not a justice that hurts others, but a justice that restores what was lost, that honors what was quietly given. You will be amazed, not by how fast things change, but by how perfect the timing is. Everything I took away made space for what I am about to give. Everyone who left made room for those who match your purpose. Every disappointment cleared out what could not stay for what is coming next. You are not being raised up to prove anything to those who ignored you. You are not being recognized to show them they were wrong. You are being placed because I was right to choose you, and that is enough. Heaven's approval is your foundation, and that alone will carry you through the hard times ahead. So stand tall inside, not with pride, but with peace. You are not just someone who got through. You are someone made for more than recognition, for more than reward, for a divine mission. Now that the time is right, heaven is announcing what the earth tried to ignore. You were never forgotten. You are being made ready. I want you to understand this very clearly right now. I have seen every time your presence was ignored, every time your help was overlooked, every time your voice was not invited. I saw the exact moments when you stayed quiet out of wisdom, and also when you stayed silent out of tiredness. I never mixed up those two. I saw when you made the hard choice to bless someone who ignored you. I saw the nights you prayed for others even when you were hurting. And I never took any of that for granted. Others may have judged your value by how much attention you got, but I never did. I measure from inside. I see your steady yes, the depth of your kindness, and how much you care. I know how much of yourself you gave to places that didn't see the cost. While others walked away without saying thank you, I stayed. I recorded it all. I remembered. You never needed to perform for my attention. I never needed you to be loud or popular. I never needed your name on a list or screen to prove you matter. I was with you when rooms felt cold, when no one recognized you, when your help was never mentioned. I never turned away from you, not once. The tears you cried in secret were never lost. They are precious to me, not because I like to see you suffer, but because each tear holds a part of a heart that refuses to harden. That is who you are to me, the one who stays gentle even when misunderstood, the one who keeps choosing me even when you don't feel me, the one who stays even when everything inside tells you to leave. That is not weakness. That is spiritual strength. That is maturity. So let me tell you what I think about you. You are steady even when no one applauds. You are honest even when it costs you popularity. You are kind even when your heart is tired. You are firm even when everything around you changes. You are brave even when fear tries to silence you. You are pure in motive even when misunderstood. You are beautiful to me, not because of what you do, but because of who you are when no one sees. This is not praise to make you feel good. It is me reminding you of the truth you almost forgot. You have been invisible not because you were unworthy, but because I was training you to stand as who you really are, without needing others to constantly tell you it's true. You have grown where no one cheered, matured where no one noticed, and deepened in places only heaven could see. Now I am telling you, you haven't been left behind. You have been becoming. That is why you felt the tension, because your spirit knows something is changing, but your soul still remembers what it felt like to be ignored. You have struggled to match the promise I gave you with where you are now. You have quietly asked me, God, when will it be my time? And even though that question came with pain, it also came with purity. You weren't asking to be famous. You were asking to be fulfilled. You wanted to know if I still meant what I said, and I am answering you now. Yes, I did. Yes, I still do. And yes, the time is coming soon. But before I lead you forward, I need you to stand on something even deeper than your calling. I need you to stand on your identity, not who you act like. not who you want others to see, but who you really are to me. Not the version that gets praise, but the version that prays quietly, that trusts even when it's hard, that forgives when it hurts, that keeps going even when you want to stop. That is the one I am lifting up. So now I invite you not to try harder, but to come closer to me. Return to the quiet place where your spirit remembers what the noise of the world tries to make you forget. I want to restore your rhythm, your voice, your view of yourself. I want to take you out of defense and into connection. No more bracing for rejection. No more overthinking every room. No more shrinking to avoid being too much. I made you on purpose. I shaped you for impact. The very parts of you that others didn't understand, I call holy. You don't need to change to be chosen. You already are. All I ask is that you remember this. Let me be the one who guides your steps. Let me speak before you speak. Let me lead before you move. Let me remind you again and again, if needed, that what the earth ignored, heaven recorded. What they skipped over, I saved. What they called too different, I see as exactly right. You are not outside of anything I planned. You are not late. You are not missing anything. You are not overlooked. You are placed. You are grounded. You are rising in ways no one can stop. Not because of who saw you, but because of who sent you. Come sit with me. Don't come with a list of things to do. Come with an open heart. Let me love you back to clarity. Let me wash away the leftover pain of rejection. Let me take away the heavy load you carry of always needing to prove your worth. You don't have to be productive to be precious. You don't need to be praised to be called. You don't need to be seen by them to be sent by me. You were ignored by the world, but you have always been chosen by heaven. And that truth is enough to carry you forward from now on. Now that your heart is waking up again, now that your identity is strong, and my voice is taking the place of the silence you carried for so long, I want to go back. Not to open old wounds, but to bring understanding to the places where your pain made you see things wrongly. For too long, you have looked at some events through the eyes of rejection and unfairness. And while what happened was real and hurtful, I want to show you how much more was happening behind the scenes than you could see. Your pain was not proof that I left you. It was not punishment for something you did wrong. It was part of a process I allowed. Not to harm you, but to build in you a weight of glory that shallow experiences could never create. I saw the loneliness you felt, the ache from giving your best and getting nothing in return. I watched as you kept showing up for people who did not even know how much you were giving. I saw how much it hurt when your name was not said, your effort was not thanked, your loyalty was not returned, and I did not turn away. I was not far off. I was right there. Quiet, yes, but active, close, present, and careful. I was not absent from your pain, but working inside it to bring out something eternal. You were never left alone. You were being made strong. You must understand, pain by itself is not holy. But pain given to me becomes holy. It becomes the place where humility, patience, and kindness grow. And you gave it to me, even when you questioned, even when you were frustrated, even when you wanted to shut down and stop completely. You still brought it to me, and I honored that because every time you chose not to harden your heart, you gave me more room to work. Every time you forgave, I poured healing oil on your heart. Every time you served without anyone noticing, I stored it like precious seed. Every time you stayed in the hard moments, I marked you with greater spiritual authority. You didn't see it then, but your pain was shaping something solid, not for show or applause, but for true spiritual depth. You've walked through a kind of inner breaking that changes how someone sees themselves forever. And that's why I had to walk with you through all of it. Because if you had stepped into the spotlight before your heart had started to heal, you would have built your worth on survival, on the need for approval, and on false affirmations. And none of those could carry the weight of my calling. So yes, I allowed the cutting back. Yes, I allowed the disappointments. Yes, I allowed some people to walk away. Not because you weren't enough, but because you mattered too much to leave those wounds unhealed. What felt like being abandoned was really me making space for change. I could have stopped the hurt, but I wanted to do something deeper in you. I was after your full healing. I know the exact moment you felt forgotten. I know the day you cried out, "God, if you see me, why does nothing seem to change?" I didn't ignore that cry. I took it seriously. I answered, not in the way you hoped, but in the way you needed. I started removing the things you were leaning on. I started pointing out the things that had quietly taken my place in your heart. I allowed the silence to stretch until you could finally hear my whisper again, not just the noise of the world. You weren't being punished. You were being purified. You've asked me why certain relationships, ones that felt so right, ended so quickly. Why doors that looked like blessings slammed shut. Why some things that looked like heaven's answer disappeared. And here is my answer. Not everything that looks good leads to life. I saw what you couldn't. I saw hidden motives, small compromises, and the long-term consequences. I stepped in because you asked me to keep you in my will. And sometimes my will meant pulling you out of what your heart was tied to. It hurt, but it also saved you. Some of the pain you experienced wasn't just about you. It was about what I want to do through you. There are people coming who will need to see your scars to feel safe with you. They're not looking for someone who had a perfect life. They're looking for someone who's been through fire and still chose love. That's what you carry now. Depth, truth, and understanding. You've been through enough to enter a room and carry peace without even saying a word. That's real authority. And that's what I was forming in your pain. So now, as I begin to restore what's been broken, I want you to see it differently. I want you to bless the season that felt like loss. I want you to look back and realize that nothing was wasted. Even when you felt like you were barely making it, I was building something strong underneath you. Every quiet yes became a seed, and now every seed is about to grow. You paid a price, but now comes the return. You are not a victim of what happened. You are a vessel for what I'm doing. The rejection didn't disqualify you, it prepared you. The silence didn't stop you, it deepened you. The pain didn't break you, it baptized you into endurance. Now that you carry that oil, you're ready to enter places you once didn't feel good enough for, not with pride or bitterness, but with peaceful confidence. You know who you are now, not because they told you, but because I showed you. That's why I've brought you this far. That's why I'm speaking clearly now, because the moment of redemption has arrived. And I'm not just redeeming your future, I'm redeeming your past. The very things that once looked like detours will now prove that I was guiding you all along. You won't just be healed, you'll help others heal. You won't just rise, you'll bring others with you. You won't just speak, you'll speak with my heart behind every word. I'm not asking you to forget your pain. I'm asking you to let me use it. Now that you know your pain wasn't random, that the rejection wasn't proof you lacked value, and the silence wasn't punishment, It's time for me to show you what I've been preparing in the background. Because I haven't just been healing your heart. I've been building things around you. Real things. Divine things. Things you haven't seen yet because they were still being formed. And now, as you begin to move forward, healed, whole, and sure of who you are, I'm going to start lifting the curtain. Slowly, carefully, clearly. I'll begin to show you what I've been doing in the places where you thought nothing was happening. There are promises I made to you that you thought were forgotten because so much time passed and nothing changed. There are words I spoke over your life that you stopped praying about because they felt too far from real life. There are dreams I planted in you that you buried, not because you gave up, but because the weight was too painful. But I never changed my mind. I never let go of what I said. What you thought was buried is still alive, still working, still marked to be fulfilled. The season you are stepping into now will be full of clear signs that what I spoke wasn't just encouragement for a moment. It was the beginning of your purpose. You'll start to feel movement, not emotional ups and downs, but a strong, steady sense that something is happening. You'll notice people re-entering your life, not to drag you backward, but because now I've refined both you and them for divine purpose. Your conversations will feel heavier with meaning. The places you go will feel different. New doors will open, not because you chased them, but because you're ready to carry them now. You'll find yourself in places you didn't ask to be in. You'll hear doors open that you didn't knock on. And in every one of those moments, I want you to remember, this is not random. This is me. Watch for the patterns. I speak through more than sermons and songs. I speak through repeating phrases, little confirmations. Moments when someone says something they don't even know you've been praying about. These are not coincidences. They are signs. I will start making you more aware. Not so you overthink everything, but so you can move with trust. I'll guide you to certain scriptures. I'll lead you towards certain people. I'll stir up ideas you thought were gone. Follow them. Listen to the nudges. Take the next step. I'll confirm things as you go. Some signs will come through disruption. Not everything will feel easy. Some of what I remove will surprise you. People may leave without explanation. Plans you thought were solid might fall apart. But don't panic. These are signs too. I'm not punishing you. I'm clearing the path. I'm making space. I'm protecting what's true. And what I allow to fall now is making space for what I'm bringing that will last. If something leaves, trust that it couldn't carry the weight of your next season. Now let's talk about what the fulfillment will look like. It won't all come in a single moment. I work in steps, in layers, in waves of grace. But one thing will be clear. The atmosphere around your life will shift. The heaviness that has stayed with you for so long will start to lift. The confusion that once fogged your thinking will start to break away. You will have clear understanding, not just of where you're going, but of who you're becoming. This isn't just about reaching a goal, it's about transformation. I'm not giving you what you asked for just to satisfy you. I'm giving you what I promised, because now you're ready to carry it with wisdom, with gentleness, and with care. Provision is part of what's coming. Expect what you need to begin showing up. Not just money, but people, emotional support, and helpful strategies. What you lacked before will now find you, not because you earned it, but because you are aligned with what I'm doing. You didn't chase the promise. You chased me. And now, the promise is going to chase you. You'll also start to recognize confirmation through peace. Some choices you make won't make sense to others, but you will feel a quiet confidence that doesn't need anyone's approval. That's how you'll know it's me. Because I don't lead with pressure. I lead with peace. There will be new tasks, assignments that are specific, unusual, and perfectly timed. You'll feel them before you see them. You'll know in your spirit what I'm asking you to do, and you'll need to say yes before everything makes sense. That's how I lead. I don't always give full explanations because I want your full trust. So when I tell you to speak, speak. When I tell you to step away, walk. When I tell you to rest, don't fight it. The more you follow, the more signs will follow you. This is how we move now, step by step, word by word, from one glory to the next. This season will be shaped not just by promises, but by my presence. You won't just feel me in church. You'll feel me in your kitchen, in the hallway, in the car. I'm making you more sensitive to me. I'm coming closer in new ways. And that closeness will be the biggest sign of all, that everything I said isn't just possible. It's happening now. You were ignored by earth but chosen by heaven, and now heaven is answering. Watch for the signs. Respond with faith, and get ready for the fullness. Now that the promises are waking up and the signs are showing up clearly all around you, you have to make a choice. Not just to believe I'm doing something, but to live like it's true. Faith was never meant to be passive. It's not just a feeling that comes and goes based on what you see. Faith is a daily choice to stay in agreement with what I've spoken, through your actions, your words, your mindset, and your obedience, even when the promise still feels far away. This is where many lose their way, not because they stop believing, but because they don't know how to keep walking when faith no longer feels exciting. But you, my child, are not called to just feel inspired. You are called to live in alignment with me. Living by faith in this season means changing your daily habits. Start your day with intention, not by rushing into busyness, but by first being still with me. Don't feed your heart with the world's words before you hear mine. When you open your eyes in the morning, let your spirit wake up too. Before the phone, before the pressure, before the schedule, come sit with me. Even if it's only 10 minutes, I want you to be with me, not to check off a list, but to truly pay attention. Ask me how I want to lead you that day. Let me center you before the world tries to pull you out of place. That small act, starting your day with my voice, will shift everything else. And throughout your day, I want you to stay aware of me. I'm not asking you to become overly strict or overly structured. I'm asking for a heart that stays connected. When something stirs anxiety, don't panic. Pause and check your atmosphere. Ask me, Lord, what do you say about this? And I will speak. When you don't know what to do, invite me in. When a door opens, ask me if you should walk through it. Faith isn't about trusting your own ideas. It's about your willingness to follow me, even when your logic. The more you involve me in the small, everyday things, the more you'll start to recognize me clearly in the bigger ones. I also want to help you change the way you speak. Your words carry power now. What you say out loud is either helping to build the future I'm aligning for you, or it's slowing it down through doubt. So start speaking like someone who knows they've been chosen by heaven. Stop apologizing for the purpose I've given you. Stop downplaying how far you've come. Stop repeating fear's lies. Speak clearly. Speak with hope. Speak with confidence. Knowing what I've placed in you is strong, lasting, and full of purpose. Say what I've said. Speak my promises, even if you haven't seen them yet. Faith doesn't wait to feel brave. It speaks life into dry places because it knows that truth has the power to change things. Now let's talk about obedience, because that's where your faith is seen. You can't say you trust me and still ignore what I ask of you. When I ask you to let go of something, it's not to punish you. It's because it's too heavy for where you're going next. When I nudge you to move on an idea or speak up in a place where you've stayed silent, I want you to do it. Not to get results, but because obedience moves you into the right place. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. The moment you say yes is the moment I equip you. Obedience might not always feel easy, but it will always come with my grace to carry it through. So stop waiting to feel qualified. I've already chosen you. Just follow me. Protect your thoughts. You've let too many voices fill your inner world. Voices of comparison, doubt, distraction, and criticism pretending to be caution. Now it's time to guard that space. Be careful about what you let in, what you watch, what you listen to, who you talk to, and what influences you. If it pulls you away from peace, purpose, or my voice, it's not just a distraction. It's a danger to your alignment. Protect your peace. It's not just about feeling good. It helps you hear me clearly. You also need to learn to rest, not because you're worn out, but because I'm asking you to. Rest isn't just about stopping activity. It's about trusting me. It's a choice to believe that I'm working even when you're not. Build space into your life again for quiet and stillness. Step away, reflect, realign. You don't have to prove anything. You're called to walk in step with me, and that rhythm includes rest. One more thing. I want you to start writing again. Whether it's in a journal, a voice memo, or short notes, I want you to record what I'm showing you. Write down the confirmations. Write about the small miracles. Write the scriptures that stand out. Write the things I speak when the world goes quiet. These will become your reminders, your altars. They'll help you stay grounded when emotions rise. You'll look back and realize I was speaking all along. This is what it means to live by faith now. Not by force, but with purpose. Not from fear, but from peace. You're no longer being led by worry or what others think. You're being led by my voice. And because of that, the promises I gave you won't be delayed. They'll arrive right on time. Not because you chased signs, but because you followed me. Now that you're learning how to walk in this alignment, and you're moving from simply surviving to actively trusting, I want to remind you of who you really are. Not who you tried to be to fit in, not who your past made you think you were, and not who others misunderstood you to be, but who I see when I look at you. You are the person I formed, shaped, and never stopped seeing, even through it all. And before I bring you fully into your next season, I want your identity to be firmly settled, not just in what you say, but in how you carry yourself, in how you think, in how you respond, in how you see yourself when nobody else is watching. You need to know you are not the result of rejection. You are the proof of my redemption. I know how long you've carried the pain of feeling unseen and misunderstood. I know how often your most precious parts were misread, ignored, or pushed aside. You've had seasons where you gave your heart, time, energy, even your whole self, to people, places, and callings, and in return, you got silence. You started to think being invisible meant something was wrong with you, so without even knowing it, you started to hold back. You lowered your voice, not from humility, but from fear. You turned down your fire, not because it stopped burning, but because you didn't want to make others uncomfortable. You didn't walk away from me, but you started walking carefully in the places I called you to shift. but I never asked you to perform. I never wanted you to shrink to make others feel okay. I didn't create you for smallness. You did that to stay safe. But now I'm calling you to live. What I placed in you was never meant to be watered down. It was meant to carry my authority. It was meant to speak clearly. It was meant to hold my presence. And now, because you've walked through fire and didn't lose your tenderness, because you stayed in the silence and didn't become bitter, because you kept going when no one was watching, I am restoring your identity, completely, unshakably, and for all to see. You are not weak. You are not behind. You are not invisible. You are not replaceable. You are not uncertain. You are not lost. You are whole. You are steady. You are fully known. You are deeply loved. You were chosen, not randomly, not by chance, not because no one else was available, but on purpose. I knew exactly what I was doing when I created your voice, your thoughts, your heart, your design. I wasn't unsure. I wasn't rushing. I wasn't experimenting. I made you to reflect a part of me that no one else can reveal. And now I want you to live with that understanding, not in pride, but in peace. This is the season where I take back what others tried to rename in you. This is the time when I correct the inner voice that's been saying, "You're not enough unless you're always producing, proving, or performing." You don't have to earn your worth. You don't have to fight for a place. You don't have to copy someone else's path to walk in my promise. What I've placed on your life isn't fragile. It's not negotiable. And it's not tied to people's opinions. It's set by my authority. Now live from that truth. Your voice matters, not because it's the loudest, but because I've anointed it. Your presence carries weight, not because of your resume, but because of the oil that formed in the quiet. Your discernment is sharp, not just because of knowledge, but because you've walked through pain. Your compassion runs deep, not because someone trained you, but because you were broken and healed. And all of that is now becoming power in my hands. Not for fame, but for impact. You've spent too long apologizing for how I made you, for the way you think, feel, and don't fit into shallow spaces. What they called too emotional, I call alive. What they labeled too intense, I call spiritually awake. What they dismissed as too sensitive, I call deeply aware. So stop reshaping yourself just to be accepted. You weren't meant to fit the room. You were meant to change it. Let me rebuild how you see yourself. Let me show you what I see when you walk in. I see someone who shifts the unseen just by being present. I see someone who walks with scars but still chooses love. I see someone who could have left but stayed. Someone who could have shut down but kept their heart open. Someone who could have fought back but chose to pray instead. That's why I trust you. That's why I'm lifting you. That's why I'm restoring you, not just to who you were before the pain, but to who you've become because of all you've come through. So don't walk into this next season trying to prove anything. Just be who I made you to be, fully, freely, and without fear. Let the healed version of you lead. Let the restored you speak. Let the brave you rise. Let the steady you make decisions. You are not here to be tolerated. You are here to carry truth. You are not here to impress people. You are here to release what is holy. You are not moving forward as someone still trying to recover. You are moving forward as someone who has been recommissioned. From this point on, let your decisions reflect your worth. Let your choices show your healing. Let your time and energy reveal how much you now understand your value. You're no longer giving space to people who only saw your worth when it was convenient. When you stayed quiet, You stopped letting people control you who couldn't see your real value unless it looked the way they wanted it to. You stopped changing who you were just to survive. You started living from what was actually true about you. People on earth ignored you, but heaven never stopped watching. Now what heaven has seen is about to change what people on earth can't deny anymore. Now that you know who you really are, and you've started walking not from being rejected, but from what God showed you, it's time to build the daily habits that will keep growing what I'm doing in you and through you. Knowing who you are isn't something that happens once. It needs to be protected, fed, and kept strong through talking with me every day. What I've fixed in your heart now needs to be kept healthy through being close to me, not by working harder. If you try to handle what's coming next with your old ways of doing things, you'll get tired instead of having more than enough. So let me show you how to move forward in practical ways that are spiritual and solid. Your first way of being must be about being present with me. Make room for me at the beginning of every day. Not because you have to, but because you need to. You can't live just reacting to things anymore. You need to live with a steady rhythm. Before you check the news, before you listen to what the world is saying, meet with me. Sit in the quiet. Open your heart, even if it's just 10 minutes. Start your day not with what feels urgent, but with what lasts forever. Say my name. Ask me what I'm telling you today. Let me be the first voice that sets how your mind thinks and how your heart feels. These small times of giving up control will steady you in ways that even hours of trying hard never could. Prayer isn't about doing it perfectly. It's about how you position yourself. You don't need the right words. You need a real heart. Talk to me like you talk to someone you trust. Tell me what you feel, not just what you think I want to hear. Bring me your confusion, your happiness, what you want when you're tired. You've tried to be strong when you pray, but I'm not impressed with strength. I'm drawn to when you let go. Let me be your place to release things, not just your place to ask for things. Let prayer become like breathing, not a spiritual task, but the atmosphere of your life. How you think throughout the day must now come from truth, not from reacting. You're not behind. You're not trying to prove yourself anymore. Let every choice, every conversation, every move come from knowing who you are. Walk like someone who knows they smell good. Talk like someone who knows they're safe. Don't give in to the pull to over-explain yourself, to question your worth, to say sorry for the weight you carry. What I've put in you is holy. It doesn't need constant approval. It needs you to keep agreeing with it. Carry yourself humbly, yes, but not timidly. You've confused being small with being gentle. I am calling you to be bold. Not the loud kind, but the grounded kind that walks into a room and brings peace without needing to perform. As for my word, make it your foundation again. Not a backup when things get hard. Not a last option. Let it be your daily food. You don't need to read a lot. You need to read slowly. Let one verse shape your day. Let one story speak into your season. Ask me to show you what applies to right now. Write it down. Think about it deeply. Say it out loud. My word is alive, but it must be invited to shape your life. Let it make your mind new so that when lies try to sneak back in, you have truth ready to answer. I also want you to watch what you take in, not just food, but content, conversations, influences. What you feed your spirit matters. You can't pray for peace while feeding on noise. You can't walk in clarity while taking in confusion. Be honest about what's shaping how you see things. Be intentional about what you let near your heart. This isn't about rules, it's about being aligned. What you put up with will eventually take root. Choose wisely. Start writing things down again. Not just thoughts, but revelations, promptings, impressions. Write what you sense me saying. Write the confirmations you're seeing. This won't just strengthen your memory, it will build your faith. You will look back and see how consistent I've been, even when you didn't feel it in the moment. You will learn to trust my patterns, not just my promises, and above all, walk in consistent obedience. Don't delay what I've already told you. The time for hesitation is over. You've asked for clarity, and I've given it. Now move in response. Start what I told you to start. Let go of what I ask you to let go of. Speak when I give you the nudge. Step when I lead you. You don't need a 5-year plan. You need one step of faith. I will meet you there. This is the structure that will keep the shift going. Daily presence, thinking filled with truth, renewal based on scripture, and obedient response. You're not just preparing for the future. You're living it now. Keep your heart clear. Keep your pace steady. Keep your ears open. I am still speaking, and everything I say is leading you deeper into what I've always intended for you. Now lean in, because this is no longer just preparation. This is the beginning of a shift. You have waited. You have endured. You have submitted yourself to the hidden process I designed for your protection, your development, and your alignment. And now, as surely as night gives way to dawn, I am declaring over your life. The season has changed. The waiting was not forever. The delay was not punishment. The wilderness was not a mistake. Everything has been building toward this moment. And now, what I placed in your spirit long ago is about to step into what people can see, not because you pushed for it, but because I declared it. You will begin to feel the difference before you see it. There will be a noticeable change in how you carry your day. What used to feel heavy will begin to feel light. The fear that once froze you will begin to lose its hold. The questions that ate up your thoughts will start to fall silent. This is not just emotional peace, it's spiritual confirmation. I'm bringing clarity where there was confusion, precision where there was hesitation, and release where there was holding back. What has been held back will now begin to flow, not in chaos but in rhythm, because you're not walking into this by striving. You're walking into it by appointment. Some of the doors I'm opening will not make sense to others. They won't fit the expectations that were placed on your life by those who only saw a piece of your calling. That's why I hid you. That's why I kept certain opportunities away. If I had allowed you to be exposed too early, you would have built around being seen instead of my voice. But now your ears are tuned. You've learned to hear me in the silence. And now that you know how to move by faith and not by approval, I can begin to bring forth what has been reserved for this exact time. There are people who will reappear. Not everyone who left was meant to stay gone forever. Some were removed so I could do in them what I was doing in you. You've both changed. The version of you they knew no longer exists, and that's a good thing. Be careful. Some reconnections will be from God, and you will know them by the peace they carry. Others will try to reattach out of curiosity or familiarity. Do not entertain relationships I've not ordained. You're not called to carry people who still expect you to shrink. Let me decide who walks with you in this next chapter. Obedience in your relationships will be just as important as obedience in your calling. There will be acceleration. It won't look like hype. It won't feel like chaos. It will feel like flow. Things that took years to even get close to will now begin to move quickly. Favor will find you. Resources will meet you. Open doors will begin to line up in a way that no one can take credit for. And that's exactly how I want it. I'm not just releasing breakthrough. I'm protecting the testimony. You won't need to manipulate, perform, or explain yourself. The fruit will speak. The shift will be obvious. What I do next will confirm that my hand has never left your life, even in the seasons where you felt the most unseen. I'm restoring time. The years you thought were lost, spent in silence, in confusion, in waiting. I'm redeeming them, not with repetition, but with compensation. You will step into seasons of fruitfulness that seem to move faster than the years that came before them. Don't be afraid of the pace. I've already prepared you. You don't need to figure it all out. You need to stay close. Let me lead. Let me pace your steps. The path ahead has already been marked. What you need will meet you on the journey. But know this: with new visibility comes new responsibility. I'm not just elevating you to bless you, I'm elevating you to impact others. Your influence will increase, but so will your weight. That's why I spent so long forming your interior. Now that I can trust what's within you, I can expand what's around you. Don't forget the secret place. Don't neglect the rhythms of stillness, of prayer, of my word. What I give you now will require constant alignment, not constant effort. The anointing is not meant to be carried with stress. It is meant to be stewarded with humility. You've been faithful in the unseen. You've been consistent in the quiet. And now I'm bringing you into what I promised. Not a version of it, not a watered-down form, but the fullness. You're about to watch me fulfill what seemed impossible. The vision you thought had faded is still alive. The prayers you thought were lost in delay have been moving in the spirit all along. And now the atmosphere has changed. The season has turned, and you are no longer the version of yourself that doubts it. You were ignored by earth, but heaven never missed a single moment of your process. And now heaven is releasing what earth could not contain. Prepare your heart. Hold nothing back. The shift is not coming. It has already begun. Now that the shift has begun externally, I want to bring you even deeper internally, because what I'm doing around you must be sustained by what I'm doing within you. My Spirit has not only been working in your life, He's been dwelling inside of you, preparing your inner world for what your external world is now catching up to. This isn't just about stepping into opportunities. This is about stepping into a deeper dimension of identity and intimacy. And that can only happen through communion with the Holy Spirit, my presence not just near you, but in you. I want you to understand something now. The Holy Spirit is not a force. He is not a feeling. He is not a distant mystery or an occasional encounter. He is me. He is my Spirit sent to dwell within you, not to visit you temporarily, but to make your life His home. And He is not sleeping. He has been speaking, leading, grieving, groaning, guiding, even in moments you didn't recognize it. The reason you've been able to endure the silence, to stay faithful through confusion, to keep moving through pain, is because my Spirit was interceding through your weakness. The moments you didn't know how to pray, He was already praying on your behalf. The times you wanted to quit, He was stirring endurance from within. But now it's time to stop simply surviving with my Spirit and begin walking fully in step with Him. I want more than your spiritual awareness. I want your full surrender. I want you to yield not just in moments of crisis, but in the daily flow of your life. The transformation I'm bringing is not external hype. It's internal rewiring. I'm renewing the way you think, the way you feel, the way you respond, the way you carry yourself. And it won't happen through pressure. It will happen through presence. My spirit is gentle, but he is relentless. He doesn't overpower, he outlasts. He waits for access, not permission. You've already given him your yes. Now I want you to give him your patterns, your time, your attention. This isn't about doing more. It's about being available. The more space you give me in your soul, the more my nature begins to rise through your words, your choices, your rhythm. That's transformation. Not behavior modification, not emotional reaction, but deep change that becomes visible through sustained communion. There are things in you I'm healing right now that you didn't even ask me to heal. Patterns of overthinking, emotional reactions formed in survival, self-doubt shaped by years of being ignored, the fear of being misunderstood, the inner voice that tells you you have to prove your worth over and over. I'm dealing with all of it, not through correction, but through presence. I don't want to debate your dysfunction. I want to dwell in your freedom. And my spirit brings freedom wherever he is fully welcomed. I want to transform your inner environment. I want peace to become your baseline, not a rare experience. I want you to feel settled, even when nothing around you is clear. I want joy to rise in you, not based on outcomes, but on awareness. I want to show you what it feels like to live from fullness, not for it. And that starts with recognizing that I am not just with you when you feel me. I am with you always, especially in the moments where your spirit quiets long enough to notice me. You don't need a stage to experience glory. You don't need a breakthrough moment to encounter me. I am present in your room, in your car, in your thoughts, in your breath. And I'm calling you to live from that place. You don't need to chase me. I've already come close, and I'm not leaving. I don't abandon those I indwell. What I've started in you, I will finish. And the next phase of that work is happening now, on the inside. You're going to start noticing a different reaction in yourself. Not because you're trying harder, but because you're more aware of me. You'll sense tension rising and immediately feel my peace interrupting it. You'll start to speak slower, more intentionally, more with me and less from you. You'll forgive quicker. You'll let go easier, not because it stopped hurting, but because my spirit is guiding your emotional landscape now, not your past pain. You're going to wake up feeling clear, not because circumstances have settled, but because I've aligned your spirit to truth overnight. This is what inner transformation looks like. Not loud moments of spiritual effort, but consistent waves of holy awareness that begin to change how you move through life. And as you let me in deeper, I will activate parts of you that have been waiting to wake up. Spiritual gifts you doubted, prophetic instincts you suppressed, discernment you questioned, the ability to know things you didn't study, the wisdom to speak things you've never said. These are not talents. They are evidence of my spirit alive in you. You will operate in greater spiritual precision because you've surrendered more of your inner space. You won't have to strive to be spiritual. You will walk as someone who is filled. The transformation I'm bringing is not for display. It's for longevity. It's so that when the pressures of visibility increase, your foundation holds. It's so that when others look to you for stability, you don't collapse under the weight. It's so that when you face moments of opposition, you don't react in fear but respond in power. This isn't just about ministry. This is about becoming. You're not stepping into a role. You're stepping into a rhythm of relationship that flows outward into everything you do. Let me into every part. Don't compartmentalize. I want access to your ambition, your desires, your relationships, your plans. I want to filter them all through my spirit. You'll find yourself more efficient, more creative, more joyful, not because you're doing less, but because you're finally flowing with me instead of around me. This is what life with the Spirit looks like. It's not perfect, it's surrendered. And it changes everything. You were ignored by people, but you've always been the dwelling place of my Spirit. Now that you believe it, let me live through you fully, freely, completely. The shift outside of you was just the start. The true transformation is what I'm doing in you right now. Now rest, my child. Rest not by withdrawing or escaping, but by finally standing in the truth you've always longed to believe. You are seen, you are chosen, and you are exactly where I need you to be. This entire journey has not been a series of delays, rejections, or missteps. It has been a divine progression, a holy design. What felt like being ignored was in fact my hand covering you. What looked like missed opportunities was my wisdom protecting your trajectory. And what seemed like silence from me was actually the sound of me building, preparing, and preserving something far greater than your expectations. You've come through a long season where your heart was faithful, but your hands were empty. Where you gave much and received little in return. Where your presence was taken for granted and your contribution overlooked. But even in that space, especially in that space, I never turned my eyes from you. I never stopped speaking. I never stopped building what I knew was coming. And now we arrive at the turning point. Not in theory, in reality. This is the moment where what I planted in the unseen begins to rise in the visible. You have not just been prepared, you have been positioned. You won't need to strive for recognition in this next chapter. You won't need to explain why you carry what you do. You won't need to fight for placement, acceptance, or validation. The doors that open for you now will do so under the weight of my name, not your effort. The influence I give you now will not come as a test. It will come as a response to your endurance. And the favor that begins to surround you will not be fragile or fleeting. It will be built on the unshakable truth of your identity in me. You are not stepping into opportunity. You are stepping into fulfillment. So do not hold back. Do not second guess. Do not wonder if you're ready. I have seen the cost of your process. I have measured your private obedience. I have examined your heart, tested your motives, and refined your soul. And what I say now is final. You are ready. Not because you are flawless, but because you are fully mine, and that is enough. Live from that place, speak from that place, build from that place, befriend, lead, and serve from that place. Let your presence carry the fragrance of someone who no longer walks in search of approval, but in the certainty of adoption. Let the way you move testify that the heavens have spoken, and the earth must now align. Everything is changing now, not by your force, but by my voice. And as surely as I have spoken it, I will complete it. What began as silence ends in recognition. What was overlooked will now be established. What was covered in pain will now shine with purpose. You were ignored by earth, but you have always been seen by heaven. Amen. If this word spoke to something you've carried in silence, if you felt seen, confirmed, or called in ways you never expected, don't let this moment pass quietly. Leave a comment. Write a sentence, a prayer, a word, a name. Let your comment become a marker between heaven and earth that says, I heard you, Lord. I receive this. Heaven is watching, and I am still moving.